So if you've noticed over the past few years, things have been changing rapidly. And in this video, we're going to talk about what smart men are doing in late stage capitalism. So it feels like nothing works anymore, right? You work harder, you put in more hours, you stay late at your job, but you're still behind. Not only do you feel behind, but you actually are behind. And even if you do manage to save money, inflation eats away at it, cost of living, you have emergencies, and this is not a good position to be in. So you try to follow the traditional path, and there's not even a guarantee of a good life anymore. And that means the system has changed, and you need to recognize it, study it, and learn to adapt. So old rules no longer apply. You can no longer follow the path that your parents tell you to, that they followed, that worked in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, and expect the same results because things have changed dramatically. And technology has accelerated everything, right? We're always glued to our phones. We always are online chronically. Everything we interact with is digitized. Your job applications are reduced down to a set of keywords screened by AI. And so the middle class is shrinking. It's really becoming a K-shaped economy where the rich and wealthy just get richer, the poor and middle class, even lower middle class, are just getting poorer and being further and further behind, with minimum wage not keeping up with inflation, cost of living, and everything on the day-to-day financial side. So late stage capitalism, what does that mean? Well, wealth concentration is increasing. So a tiny portion of the top 1, 5, 10% own the majority of stocks, they own the majority of wealth, they own the majority of business. And with inflation, they're actually advantaged, right? Because their portfolio goes up in proportion to or greater than the rate of inflation. And on top of that, we have AI replacing leverage. So a lot of things that are done in white collar environments, for example, Excel, a lot of computer skills, software engineering, AI is rapidly eating into that. We know that from seeing Oracle recently laying off 30,000 people and just job cuts and layoffs. It's a very scary time. And on top of that, we have costs rising faster than income. So you only earn your 3% increase in salary for the year after your performance review, but your overall bills, your monthly bills, go up 10% or more. So why this hits men hard? Well, traditionally, men are tasked to protect and provide. And nowadays, there are studies that show that just having a female name on a job application more than doubles your chances of getting the job. Men are discriminated against in the workplace, in Hollywood. There's more female leads, and men are shown as clowns or incapable, right? And even the wage gap has been closing, with men stagnating and women earning more. Not to say that women shouldn't, but that men have mostly stagnated. And so now it's an unclear path to status. The traditional go to school, get a 4-year college degree, go into a stable office job, or even blue collar in some cases. It's not as clear what to do. And on top of that, we have global competition. So with the internet, we are now competing globally. So the old playbook is dead. College, get a job, or buying a house. is now much more difficult. Even company loyalty, the age of pensions and working for the same company for 40 years and then retiring, that's really a thing of the past. People job hop from job to job every 1, 2, 3 years. So stability in this old system is an illusion. It is no longer really clear what the next few years holds with the advancing technology rate, with the state of geopolitics, with everything constantly changing and evolving. So it's important to realize you're on your own. No system will save you. The government will not hand out money and keep you afloat. You must build leverage and find ways to upskill and use that to earn money and grow independently. So ownership is much more important than dependency. But if you are trapped in a 9-to-5 job, then you're going to have limited resources of time and energy, and probably money too, because you have bills to pay. So you have to become very strategic with how you spend your time outside of work. So let's talk about the new rules of the game. This has always been the smart play, but it's even more crucial in today's environment. So number one is to learn scalable skills. So scale is anything that you can compound and grow with consistent effort. That would be owning your own kind of distribution channels, whether it's YouTube, an email list, a website, a physical business, where you own the asset and the leverage and you build scalable income. So it's really tough to just rely on one income stream now, right? With just your job, which just keeps you afloat. You then need to go out and think about other ways to build income, whether it's investing in stocks, starting a business, working freelance on the side, or anything of that nature, which you both have interest in and can produce income. So the income strategy now is your job is just the base layer. This used to be able to, on one salary, a 9-to-5 job, you could provide for yourself, your family, have a wife, 2 kids, or a spouse, right? You could own an entire house and pay off the mortgage in less than 30 years. You could own 2 cars. You could take multiple vacations a year on just one single income for the family, right? Now everyone has to work multiple jobs, and if you do have a spouse, then both of you need to be working full time, and even that might not be enough. So on top of just the base job, for stability, you also need a side income that can produce leverage. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. And even if they do, they bounce from thing to thing with shiny object syndrome, trying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and never moving the needle on the dial. So with a job and then a side income that you pick a lane and you stick with it for years, you then start to build leverage, and you can dump that into assets. And over time, that will snowball enough to where you have freedom, right? You have your own time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. So you don't have to be stuck in traffic Monday through Friday, or glued to your computer screen to make sure your team status doesn't go yellow, or just you don't need to show up for a job eventually, where your side income becomes your main income, and it can help you to quit. So that should be really everyone's overall goal towards financial freedom, through that kind of a system. So the mental shift required is that You need to shift from being a consumer and a doomer to a producer, okay, and a positive thinker. So stability is created. You have your 9 to 5, you have your job, you have some sort of stable employment. Then on the side, you need to take risk. You need to take risk with your time, maybe with your money, maybe with your level of comfort, to try something and give it a serious go for at least 6 to 12 months before even deciding, should I continue or not? And then really comfort is stagnation. So a lot of people, they get comfortable with just having enough, and they don't want to spend the mental or physical energy to build something real. So what should you be doing this year? Well, the answer is ultimately individual. You could start a content channel. Social media is always growing, the creator economy. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Pick a channel. Talk about something you like. Talk about something that is interesting to you or that you have a passion around. And then you can figure it out. You can build the plane as you're flying it, so to speak. You could learn advertising, so you can sell things. You should learn sales, so you know psychology and how the human brain works and what people respond to. AI, you now have no excuse to not learn something or not be able to do something, because AI can help you and really do a lot of the thinking and take out a lot of the guesswork for you. You should absolutely be learning to invest and know, like personally, I have a budget where I know my monthly income, I know my expenses, I know the difference, I know what to do with that money I'm saving. I know that I have so much money left over at the end of the month, and I try to put that away and invest it wisely. And then you always have to be building outside of your job. I have been guilty of this, just kind of stagnating a little bit at my job and going with the flow. And I always have worked hard, but then there's a good quote out there by, I believe, Jim Rohn. You should be working harder on yourself than you work on your job. You should be working harder to build skills, to up level, to upskill, to get certifications, to continue to go do job interviews, to build something on the side, to where you're not trapped in this vicious cycle of, trading time for money and barely getting by and barely getting your yearly raise. And sadly, most people won't adapt. Maybe if you've watched this far into the video, you have a better chance and you're probably going to succeed. But most people, they blame the system. They blame the government. They blame their parents. They blame the state of the economy. They blame something that happened to them and traumatized them in the past. All of this just to put the external blame on something else, when they should be looking internally and thinking, how can I do better? Most people stay stuck, right? They just go through the same loop. They settle, they get comfortable. They no longer want to try. They don't have that spark that they did when they were younger. And so they don't ever aspire to do more. And ultimately, most people, they fall behind. It's very easy to give up and one wrong move, one car breakdown, or one health relapse, or one bad week at work or something, and then you quickly fall behind. So the good news is you still have time. There's always opportunity. There's always a silver lining. And with the internet and just how amazing these resources are that we have at our fingertips, there's more opportunity than ever. If you think about it, if we were born in the Middle Ages into a peasant family who tended to, let's say, wheat crops, you couldn't really do a whole lot. You couldn't scale something or build something or even know that that exists. And you're limited to your village, your family, your small kind of set of skills and life outlook. Now we have so much that it becomes kind of a distraction, and you're overwhelmed with the opportunities, right? Overwhelmed with information and skills and so many things and opinions of other people that you can't even, in a lot of cases, have a quiet enough mind or sense of peace or purpose to be able to move forward with anything. Okay, so you always will have time to think and plan ahead, and you must act now at whatever it is that you are looking to get started with. Because every day, every week, every month that passes, you tell yourself that I'll try later, next time, and unfortunately, later never comes. All we have is today. So click the video appearing on your screen, and I will see you in the next one.